What's up, wackadoos? Welcome back. If you saw the title, or probably the thumbnail by the time I get around to it, you would probably know that I've alluded to why I'm wearing this little painter schmuck, and it's because I'm going to be doing some of the stickiest work there can be done, and that's truck bed liner. So let me show you what we got done in the last week or so, and show you what we're going to do. So obviously we went ahead and got our wood all laid out for our bed, which we hadn't shown in the last video, but we went ahead and sank our rings down below deck, so now they'll sit flush when everything's all together, and we cut out everything at the front, so everything fits up really nicely. Now, there was a lot of ways we could do this. Let me explain why we chose to use the plywood. So there was a lot of reasons why I chose to go ahead and lay down plywood over the top of our steel bed, and I'm just gonna go over the bullet points really quick. We're gonna talk about weight. Obviously, every bit of weight that we can keep off of the truck is going to help us with our bottom line. It's just less we have to pull. So right out the gate, we're getting a weight advantage because the amount of the gauge of steel it would take to have the same amount of load dispersion as plywood would be a huge additional amount of weight to the bed. So we're getting better load dispersion without having to add a whole bunch of weight, and the cost of steel right now is absolutely insane. So saving money, saving weight, and better load dispersion. Secondarily, we're talking about serviceability here. Now, with the bed being made out of plywood on top, if I bust up a section real bad, dropping something on it, I can remove that section, respray it, stick it down, we're good to go. Or if I need to redeck the entire bed later on as the truck ages, we can go ahead and do that as well. So it makes it so that serviceability is a little easier. Enough about that. We could talk all day about the million ways I could have done it. Let's just get to what I'm gonna do. Quick additional note, we did some freehand router work into the bed in hopes that once everything is all bed linered out really nicely, this will kind of sink in and kind of ghost through the final finish and should look kind of cool. If not, it'll basically disappear. Nobody will ever know it was there. Not too worried about it, but I think it's going to turn out pretty cool. So we're going to be using Herculiner roll-on bed liner. Now, I've had really good results with this product in the past, and I think that it's going to work out for what we're trying to do here just as well. Now, you can find a lot of cross reviews of all the different brands. This one I think is going to hold up best for what I'm trying to do with it. And if I'm wrong, I guess we'll have a few years to figure that out. But most truck beds are about 6 to 8 feet long, and each of these kits does a standard truck bed. My bed is approximately double the length of a truck bed, so I got 2 kits, and hopefully that's enough coverage. So we're going to split them off, and we'll do the first half and the second half and see what happens. I imported additional manpower. So we're going to have Robin is going to be mixing up and pouring out some of our bed liner. Cody's going to be standing on the other side of the bed, and we're going to be working the bed from both sides at the same time. And we're going to use our first can between the cab and where our center of the bed line is. And we're going to try and just go back and forth doing coats until we've used one whole can basically up to the middle. And then as soon as that one starts to tack up, we're going to pop open the second can and work our way down the back. Theoretically, this is a good way to do it. The thing is, once you get to the certain length on the bed, you can't go back and do the second coat without having to go to the sides anyways. And there is kind of a tack time in between coats, and I want it to look very uniform. So I think having us work from opposing sides and kind of use each other for reference might help us out on that one. So hopefully this works out as brilliantly as I'm planning.
All right, boys, what are we doing?
Getting a refill, hopefully.
Negative.
Here's the first coat of the first half.
Essentially, we got the first coat of the first half on both sides, and letting that set up a little bit, get a little tack to it, and then we're gonna get the second coat going.
It looks great.
Hey, thanks.
There goes the beer.
And right now, we're right on schedule to be able to get a nice, thick, heavy coat on the second part of it. So I'm feeling really confident that this is going to be the perfect amount. If not, we can always start filling in other spots. But basically, we're ready to go on to the second coat of the first half. So we're a quarter of the way done.
What do you think, boys?
So we've got the first half done. We've used the first can. We allocated it to the first half of the bed, and the footage came out really well. We got 2 nice, thick coats. The way that we plan on doing it, there's a binding coat, and then you put it on your top coat. And what you might be seeing on camera, because we are seeing it in person, is you can see the roller marks. And as this stuff starts to settle into its final position, I believe that those roller marks can go away from stuff that I've done before. But I feel like we've really sealed all the little crevices and really got a nice thick coat on there based on what we saw on the second coat. So, what are your thoughts?
I like it. My balls is hot.
There you have it.
How goes it?
It goes.
We're 3/4 of the way done. We're kind of starting to fill everything in on the back end here, get our first coat down. This is our tack coat, and it looks really good. Our design that we got on the bed is taking it well, and we're actually using this as a sealer for that. And then we're going to skim the top when we get to the heavy bed liner and see what happens. Now, hopefully our design doesn't get lost in it entirely. I don't think it will, because you can still see the seams from reports. I feel good about it. I don't know about anybody else. What do you guys think?
I'm stoked. I'm here for it.
What do you think?
War paint!
We did like the whole thing. And now, my understanding is, so there's like a polyurethane type base and everything that's going to settle in over the course of the next like 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. So now we're just going to have to let it sit. So we're going to start peeling off. In this case, you want, in the first like 4 to 6 hours, you want to remove the tape for anything you have taped off. In this situation, we don't need to use a cut line type tape. So we can just remove what we have, and that'll give us a good seam. So we're going to go ahead and remove our tape now so that this can set up overnight. And we're going to go ahead and drop the door on it and let it set up. And hopefully in the next day or two, we'll do an update on what it looks like once it's all settled into place. Okay, it's a couple days later, and everything's had a chance to set up and kind of even out. So let me show you what we got. So it actually set up really well. You can see that there's a little bit of brush mark that you can still see, and you can see a little bit of the areas where there's a little bit more resin there than the bonding material. And it makes it so there's a little bit more shine in some areas than others. But I feel like once it's got a layer of dirt on it and I washed it the first time, everything's gonna even out the rest of the way. The material's actually got a ton of grip on it, great traction. It's set up nice and hard. I'm really pleased with it, considering the total cost was 150 bucks plus a case of beer compared to probably $1,000 to have it shot by a bedliner company. I'm really pleased. And now it'll be nice and safe and protected from the elements when I park it out back for a little while. The next thing we need to do is drag out our base material that we're going to be using to make our ramps, and go ahead and start building our ramps so we have the ability to actually load a car on this thing. Now, I'm going to have to buy a bunch of material to make that happen and to make them strong enough to do the job. And it's going to take me a little while to get around to that. So I think we're going to go ahead and get a big tarp for this thing so I can put it out back. And during this time that I've been working on it the last few months, Kate's been accumulating some really nice parts for her car. So I think we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break from the ramp truck and jump back into that beautiful Ford. Subscribe to be notified the next time that we jump in on this ramp truck and go ahead and build our ramps. Otherwise, we're going to be catching back up with Kate's Ford Fairlane, and I hope you guys follow along for that as well. Either way, Wackadoo out.